talk about the quality of life quality, if you will. We all have to deal with depression sometimes. Things get you down. But what about chronic depression and the steps to dealing with it? Well, that's above my pay grade, but we happen to have an expert. His name is Dr. John Braccio, joins us every Tuesday about this time from Regional Psychological Services. Doc, good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And there's really no doubt that depression is one of the worst conditions a human being can have. It saps the person of energy, desire to do things, and basically they cannot get out of their own way emotionally. Even when persons are in counseling and have medication, depression still can be resistant and continue to not allow person's emotions and ability to get things done and move forward and dreams and desires. Depression can be like a 1,000-pound gorilla holding you down and all the fight is out of you. You just give in and sadly accept this is your plight. And there is nothing more you can do. And Mike, this is a bad, sad situation to be in. I'm of the belief that even though depression can be bleak and hard to beat, it's something that can be dealt with a step at a time to make your life far more livable. The following are steps I would suggest you try to do. Accept you have it. Accept you have this depression. Accept the belief you can make changes, make your life more livable. You have to set up a plan to slowly make changes to reduce depression in your life. And then, again, eliminate doubts. You can do this. You have to do that. If you don't believe something, nothing's going to happen. Recognize that in spite of whatever medication and counseling you have received, you still have what I call stinking thinking, with a negativity that does not allow you to move on. Recognize that doing something, just anything, is step one. For example, walking out of your bedroom to the kitchen could be a success if that is all you feel you can do. The next success can be walking to get your mail. Next step would be to try to walk around the block. The point is that a step at a time is how you can overcome entrenched depression. The problem is that many persons might want all or nothing right away. The result is no progress, and they just stay in this negative, depressed mood. Other things to attempt to do would include good diet, sufficient sleep, reducing such things as alcohol and cigarette smoking, exercising, replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and above all, recognizing you have the ability to control what you think about. This always becomes an important topic, and we've talked about this before, controlling what you think about. Once you do this and begin doing a step at a time, your probabilities of overcoming your depression are much higher. To not believe you can do this is very negative and will continue the cycle of depression. Now, my point is not to minimize the need for appropriate medication and expert psychological support for depression if a person needs this. No. My point is that whatever the level of depression a person has, they're capable of doing better than they are doing. In most cases, the amount of success a person can have is high if the person is dedicated and works at it with a strong belief it can be done. So, Mike, really, depression is that 1,000-pound gorilla for a lot of people, just, holds them down. They're not able to move forward. And this is even people that can have medication, can have counseling. They just feel overwhelmed. They just have this pit in the stomach, something. It's really bad. And my advice always is, you got to start somewhere. You have to believe you can change, and you have to be willing to take some steps to do this and try to move forward. But if you're down like that, it's a lot of people say, well, it's easier said than done. Well, that is true. It is easier said than done. But you have to start somewhere. So if you can take one step, baby steps, call it what you will, step at a time and move forward, then your life can have more meaning and can be more meaningful for you. And some people don't have severe depression, but they just can't get out of their own way emotionally, and they have to really be working on positive thinking, moving forward, and doing things. Action becomes very critical in life.
Does some of this fall under, and I'm not a big proponent or fan of ADHD being diagnosed willy-nilly, right? It seems like it's diagnosed way more. Whether there is way more of it or not, I don't know. It's up for debate. But depression, does that fall under, a lot of times, ADHD undiagnosed?
You can have some of the same symptoms, okay? But people with ADHD, their primary focus is really the lack of focus and attention and procrastination. They run together. You can get some depression out of that, okay? But anxiety and ADHD tend to run closer together because they have a lot of the same symptoms. Depression is something that just overwhelms someone. Now, obviously, if you have the procrastination, you're having problems at work, you're having issues in your life, and you can't focus, then obviously depression could be an outcome. Okay, but they really have really different symptoms, and a person that has ADHD has a whole other set of issues that they're trying to deal with. But for depression, it's this woe is me, things are bad, things are getting worse, just can't really move on. And a lot of this is long-term negativity, negative thinking. Now, it's true, there are chemical components. There's seasonal affective disorder. I really believe that is true. When you have a lot of clouds, you have cold persons in their house, this can really have a negative impact. But whatever the condition you have in terms of the depression, it's really important that you try to move, try to do something. Like I have people call periodically that give me all the symptoms of being depressed, and I say, well, the first thing to do is get up, walk around, go around the block if you can, go to a store, do something. It's doing something. It's the action. Because depression is that thousand-pound gorilla. I mean, it utterly wears you down and puts you just down, and you can't move. I've talked to a lot of people. They just can't get going. They just feel that they're just overwhelmed. And if you have that, it's hard to get going and hard to get some positive thinking going. And my view is, there's no alternative. Ultimately, you have to try to move forward. And these are people even that can have medication, can have counseling. They just can't seem to move forward. The negative thoughts, the negative feelings, pit of the stomach. Now, obviously, back on the ADHD, if you have really problems with focusing and getting going, you're forgetting what you're supposed to do, you're having issues at work, issues in relationships, accused of not paying attention, not getting things done, then obviously those can certainly lead to the symptoms of depression when you're really feeling lost, you can't get going in this type thing. But they are a different set of conditions and characteristics. Obviously, if you're not diagnosed with ADHD, it certainly over time can lead to a lot of issues in your life.
I don't think I've known, and I know a lot of well-adjusted, really high successful people related to some, but every single one has gone through some sort of depression, some sort of issue. And so, first of all, I would think, like you said, you got to baby steps, call it whatever you want. I've always said to my kids, you got to find your victories and celebrate those. Don't get all big-headed about it, but you can find a victory, tiny if you have to. There's always something. Find that victory, pat yourself on the back, and then use that as a stepping stone and move on.
That's very good advice, Mike. I mean, focus on the home run, not the 30 strikeouts. I mean, in life, you have to start somewhere, and everybody has successes. Everybody has things they can be proud of if they're willing to focus on them. The problem is, so many people focus. Even a person who has 20 home runs and has maybe 3 strikeouts. Okay, for an extreme, they'll focus on those strikeouts and forget all the wonderful things they've done. So you have to start building. You look at what have you done, where can you build on successes, and back on your ADHD, if a person does start focusing on how to deal with procrastination, dealing with focus, potentially medication, things like that, that can help then reduce the depression outcome if you've really been not able to focus, not able to get things done, and you have people concerned about your ability to do your work, your ability to do your life call, or whatever you will. But we're specifically talking about depression, it is movement. It's beginning to say, yes, I can, taking one step at a time. The problem is when people really get mired into deep feelings of depression, okay, which can hit people, you don't overcome it in a minute. I mean, these are conditions that develop, and you have to say, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take control. I'm going to look at my victories. Your point's a very good one, Mike. Look at my victories. Look at the things that I can do. And
they don't have to be huge. They don't have to be big. It could be making your bed. You made your bed as soon as you got out of it this morning. Good on you. There's your victory for today. Now build on that. Don't just sit back on it. Build on that.
You're sounding like a psychologist. How does that sound?
You know what? I should be in business with you.
Hallelujah.
If we did that, you would be closing up shop. You would go, no. I thought I did want them, but no.
Everybody would have a smile, Mike. You've got a way to bring a smile out of people. That's good.
Well, I appreciate your expertise. We're up on time. This is a good one, because everybody, and don't be so proud that you can't, ladies and gentlemen, that you're so proud that, well, that's depression, somebody else, not me. Yeah, and then turn around, and then all of a sudden you get depressed. I mean, it happens. It happens. Maybe it's a blood sugar thing, like you said. Maybe it's a sleep thing, but yeah, it can happen. Hey, listen, we're up on time. Dr. John Braccio, always a pleasure. I dig these talks, man. Regional Psychological Services, and sometimes, let's face it, you got to have a professional. It helps to sit in a room and talk with someone like Doc Braccio. So good on you. Doc, have a great day, and we'll talk next week, all right? Thanks, Mike. All right, see you later. Seriously, you're the small victories. And what if it's only your victory of the day is, by golly, I'm going to eat a little bit better today. And you end up having just some fruit and stuff as opposed to junk food. That's your victory. Step on it. Ride that thing, and don't expect it to all be unicorns and happiness and sun clouds right away, but little by little. There you go. All right, listen, 1320 WILS in your morning wake up. Mike Austin right back with you.